So this webinar is all about how to begin your journey as a DevOps engineer. And while doing so, before I get into it, I would like to take some, wait a minute, what do I need to, in this webinar, we'll discuss how to begin your journey as a DevOps engineer in current market situation. Before I begin, I would like to take a quick introduction about ourselves. So we are B Cloud Ready. We Toronto-based startup. We specialize in cloud computing products and AI products. And we also do training and consulting as a part of our service. In past year, we have conducted a lot of boot camps. They were all physical boot camps, but because of current situation, we have changed everything into an online boot camp session. So this is part of it, and we will be talking more about it. So this is actually a very catchy phrase, but it's actually true. Because if you're looking to get into DevOps engineer right now, pretty much average salary is above 100K. But how to get to that job, that is what we are going to do that. And I'm not going to give you a quick recipe that you just mug it up and you'll get it. No, it doesn't work like that. It is, as I said, it is a journey. Journey means you have to start with a full commitment, at least 20 hours a week of commitment from your side. And then what I can do is I can give you some tools and accessories to get you to there. So I'm based on my previous experience and other students, we have seen between 3 to 6 months, people who are able to ramp up, provided you are 101% committed. It's not like that you did DevOps for 1 week and after 2 weeks you say, oh, I want to become data scientist. After 3 weeks you say, I want to become cybersecurity. Then you will be in a vicious loop which will never end. So you have to pick a side and stick to it and you will get the success. So key point, we discuss what is DevOps. Is it right for you to begin with? Strategies to prepare and strategies to apply. As I already have introduced about B Cloud Ready, Toronto-based startup, AI and cloud products, and we do training and placement. Quick introduction about me. So I am the chief data architect and DevOps engineer for B Cloud Ready. And I have over 15 years of experience, mostly in software development, cloud architecture, data engineering, mentoring, and tutoring. You can check out my LinkedIn profile. Everything is out there. As a part of training delivery, we work with a lot of large clients, namely Collabra, Wells Fargo, Capital One, Bank of America, Allstate, Ericsson. We have delivered training for them on a variety of topics, including machine learning, data science, DevOps, cloud engineering, Java full stack, so on and so forth. So what is DevOps? A lot of people ask me about, because this DevOps thing, I have been running this DevOps batch, I would say kind of a DevOps with different variants of DevOps training, almost like I would say now 5 years now. And I have delivered training for non-technical person to technical person as well. So non-technical mean sometimes I deliver these kind of webinars or boot camp before for recruiters, sales analysts, marketing, because everybody needs to understand the technology before they can actually go and talk about it. And this one is specifically not for non-tech, it's specifically for people who are interested to get into this field. So before I talk about what is DevOps, you have to understand how the software development team works, and it has been working for so far. Usually in any SDLC team, software development team, you have few developers, you have QA, you have Scrum Master. This is a typical style of doing it when I'm talking about an agile framework. So typical roles are you have software developer, software tester, build automation engineer, DevOps, infrastructure, project manager, Scrum Master, product owner. These are the typical roles you'll see in a modern agile framework. But where the DevOps come into picture and why it has become so important in past few years. Because this role, if you see, it was not very popular if I go back maybe 5 to 10 years ago. It just, I will say maybe in 2008, 2009, 10, that time started picking up, become very popular. Before that, it was there, but it was not as hot as it is right now. So in order to understand DevOps, you have to understand what is SDLC. SDLC stands for Software Development Lifecycle. This is actually applied whenever you're talking about developing any software. Doesn't matter what kind of software it is. any software development, you have to go through this process. First is like planning. Then you analyze what you analyze, you gather all the requirement of the software. Then you design. Design is where usually mostly architects come into picture. They design the system, they architect it. Then you have hired developers, developer write the code, then you have testers, and you implement and maintenance. So traditionally, these job roles, if you want to see, they are defined in a way that planning, analyze, this is usually done by say project manager, business analyst, design, and little bit I will say analyze and design, it overlaps for software architects. When you are talking about design and development, this is a foray of software developers. Then when it comes to testing and all these things, it is actually comes to QA side. And then implementation maintenance, this is where exactly the operation people comes into. And they have been called as a ops people. Not all the time they were known as a DevOps people. So how that ops role transform into DevOps, we will figure it out right now. So this is a typical SDLC cycle. And if anybody remembers, if anybody coming from software background, they know, they must have heard of something like waterfall model. So waterfall model is a project development, I will say software development methodology. In that what you do, you go by a very strict hierarchical way. You design the project, you analyze the phase, and then design, develop, and implement. This goes pretty one straight line. And usually it is well suited for well architected or well understood business model, not necessarily for a business model which is evolving or even the software design which is evolving. The flip side of waterfall model is that once have reached to the implementation phase, you really, it's not that straightforward to go back to project planning phase. Usually the costs are pretty high because in each phase you are doing big bang upgrade. Big bang upgrade, what makes it rolling back is a little bit costly. I will not say it's possible, it's just costly in terms of time and effort. So now agile comes. So waterfall versus agile, when we are talking about, is you can see that pretty much what we do on waterfall model, if you try to do in a very circular fashion, it becomes agile. What it means that instead of doing a big bang upgrade, what we do, we take a small requirement and do small software development in each cycle and with a feedback loop. So for example, if I'm developing an e-commerce website, instead of designing the whole e-commerce website in one shot, what I do, I just create a login page. That's it. Nothing more than that. What I do, I create the design of login page, I develop login page, test it, and deploy it. What happens is that the changes are so small, you don't have to wait for a whole year. You can pretty much do in a maybe 1 week or 2 week of time period. These time periods are called sprints. So you can run as many sprint as you want. So the overall time, it may be same or it may be a little bit less than waterfall model. The key benefit over here is that you are able to test your system on the live system as you go on. Second, each time you are doing incremental changes, so you're less likely to have like a major bug or something kind of rollback on production system. And also because of the business feedback or customer feedback you are getting on each and every sprint, your product is as close to as what was intended for. I'll give you one very example. In waterfall model, there used to be make a lot of joke, right? You first of all, the project you started designing for a sedan, and when the project got delivered, you got a SUV truck. So this is how it happens. And once you have built the SUV, you just cannot go back. So these limitation have existed in waterfall, and many times the project goes out of cost. So these things they try to solve using this agile methodology. And agile methodology, I said, it is a sprint. You do your development in multiple sprints. So what agile has to do with your software like DevOps? So this agile methodology, these things led to a new kind of role like Scrum Master, Agile Coach, DevOps, Agile team. So that is what it brought the change. And what was the change? These were the driving force for evolution of DevOps. First one is because of you are doing so many changes, so small changes frequently, you cannot afford to have a dedicated operation team which doesn't do any kind of development. So you cannot have a because in back in days in SDLC time, whenever we used to have a deployment or project delivery, we had to go for like maybe a weeks or even months for doing the deployment. So that thing, what happens is that that puts a lot of pressure in your delivery pipeline. And that was fine. If you're doing a project, say a software upgrade on your production system once in a year, is fine. But now if I'm talking about upgrading my production servers or production application every 2 weeks, then that kind of methodology doesn't work. How do you solve that problem? You have to automate it. It means the process where you actually take the code from developer machine to the production server, you remove all human interaction. You make it fully automated. So that is the key benefit of having DevOps, and this is why they call it DevOps. They don't call it Ops. It means development operation. You are developing the operation process. So what happened was that created a tectonic shift around the job skill market, because historically operation people, they were not tech, they were not developer savvy. They were very good with operation, they knew the system, but they were lacking the skill for development. That put a lot of pressure into the existing job market. And of course, a lot of jobs become redundant, because imagine before you had 5 6 system administrator, one configuration management, you have 5 6 people, okay. And now, but those people are all they were doing a lot of manual work which was repetitive. The moment I say repetitive, you have to think in a way that anything which is repetitive, you can automate it. It means the moment I start doing automation around these kind of operation activity, all jobs will disappear, because now your whole operation team footprint become less. Earlier you used to have maybe 5 6 sysadmin to maintain, say, farm of server. Right now you hardly need maybe or 1 or 2 DevOps engineer, because rest of thing can be automated and using some kind of tool. So for a DevOps professional, it is paramount that they have some or other kind of development skill. Again, you don't have to be a rock star developer for DevOps. You just have to know enough development to do the job, because the development skill of a full-blown Java developer and development skill of a DevOps, it doesn't have to match. You can be a just good enough developer to do your job. That is the key thing. So these are the few key factors like time to pressure, time to market pressure, agile, open source technology became mature, and massive cost saving. Of course, when you reduce the headcount of your team, you are talking about a lot of cost saving. So these are the driving factor for DevOps. So DevOps, another thing I want to highlight is that DevOps is not a tool, it is a philosophy or a principle. So the guiding principle of philosophy of DevOps is like that. First is that reduce organization silos. It means before operation team and developer team, they used to work separately, because developer always want to push their code to production as fast as possible. On the other side, operation want to slow it down process so that they have stability of the system. So there was always a friction. But once you remove this silo, if these two team work together, this silo is gone and you can have much smoother operation. Implement gradual and small change. That is the most important. You're not doing a big bang upgrade. You're doing very small changes, slowly, in order to match whatever you're deploying. Implement tooling and automation. That is the most important. You don't do anything twice. The moment you see anything you're doing, you will have to do it again anytime in future. You don't do it manually, you code it. You write it using some tool or some programming language in such a way that it is fully replaceable, in the way that as a DevOps engineer, anything you're writing code, you are doing in such a fashion that if tomorrow you leave the job or you're gone from that role, someone else can come and easily do it. So there is no more, oh, I need to create dependency so that I stay there forever. No, you have to write applications which will replace you. And often people think it, oh my God, replace, I'll be gone. No, no, you will be get something even more challenging to do it. That is what makes it more fun to do it. You constantly evolving and changing. Last but not the least, accept failure and address the failure as they shouldn't happen again. So whatever failure happened, you do RCA, root cause analysis, and you write it, you fix the thing as a code rather than a quick fix on the server. So these things are guiding principle for DevOps. So DevOps and SRE, I will say DevOps is a philosophy. So I will say SRE is the implementation of that philosophy. It's called site reliability engineer. Implementation and tooling. So when I'm talking about DevOps, so these tools are very famous like Jenkins, Maven, Git, Jira. You have to understand these tools. And the key is that, again, here I don't want someone to be Superman in Superman or Superwoman in Maven or Jira. No, you should know enough to interconnect these things to automate the development pipeline. That is what is needed. So I'm talking about build automation, test automation, deployment automation, monitoring, alerting, failure, and rollback. And these all has to be automated and very uh, in a fashion that it can be audited and traced. It's not like that, oh, that person did something on the server and he or she left the job and I don't know what to do. No, everything has to be documented in a version control system, which is Git. So these are the difference, development and operation. So as a DevOps, you work on the two side of it. You support developers to do these things and you do operation to do these things. So when I say supporting developers mean helping them to do the build automation, helping them with application deployment, these things. On the operation side, I'm maintaining an infrastructure. It could be cloud, it could be on-prem, doesn't matter. So when you're doing this kind of, I may need such an orchestration tool like Ansible, Kubernetes, Puppet, Chef. On the developer side, I need orchestration tool like Jenkins, Bamboo, TeamCity. These are the example. So who should be your DevOps professional? So basically, you should have, first of all, you should love technology. First thing is that, I mean, you have to have a little bit understanding and you should always be ready to take up new challenges. As a DevOps, I'm working for almost like, I will say 15 years, I say developer, right? In DevOps, I may be working around 10 years, but it was, and constantly you are learning. I mean, what I used to do as a tools I used to do, yes, 10 years ago, I don't use those tools at all. Those tools are gone. So you have to be ready to learn something new. And believe me, once you get used to it, you like doing learning things. So these are the experience thing, experience or education in technology, engineering and IT, comfortable or willingness to learn networking, computer system, virtualization, cloud. Because a lot of people think cloud is just, clicking bunch of buttons on AWS. It is much beyond that. If you don't understand the networking and computer system very thoroughly, if tomorrow your client says or your employer says, okay, we are switching from AWS to Azure, then you are blank. Oh my God, what it is. I just mug it up everything about AWS. I will not be able to do anything. So, but if you know the fundamentals, you can translate your skill pretty easily. And last but not the least, you have to have at least one automation tool in your hand. I'm not saying you have to master on everything. And here we are talking about having a bare minimum program, which is what the whole thing we are talking about this program is, that we take the bare minimum thing needed. And if I say search about say 20 jobs about DevOps, and we take the common skills, those are needed. These are the common skills needed. So why not? It's too comparative, too difficult. Some people are get too much intimidated with this. They think it's too comparative. Of course, it's too comparative, specifically right now in this market, because there are, because of economic condition with this virus is going on, the jobs are less right now, and pretty much a lot of people out in the market, and you have to compete hard. And people think it's too difficult, and some people think it's just too long. It will take too long. So it's not that. You can, of course, again, you don't have to learn every buzzword in the world. You just have to focus on certain buzzword and just stick with it and get good with it. So key skills we are talking about here is Linux skills that we will be focusing on. So anything, if you want to become a DevOps professional, you have to have a Linux skill. Without Linux, it just doesn't cut it. Scripting, at least some basic bash you have to know. You cannot say, I don't know bash, but I know Python. No, it doesn't work. In Linux, sometimes, sometimes bash just does something very good. You probably wasting so much time in writing other app code. So you have to know a little bit of bash. Automation tool, I will, at the moment, I will say for anybody who is just starting, start with Ansible. It is easy to learn, and once you understand it, you can graduate to Puppet or Chef. Chef is like a pretty much is used inside all these cloud providers like AWS, and they use Chef internally, but you don't have to use Chef. You can pretty much survive with Ansible as well. And then you are talking about orchestration tools like Jenkins, Kubernetes, infrastructure as code, which is a very important concept right now going on, Terraform, CloudFormation, and having an experience in doing in multiple clouds like AWS, Azure, GCP. So this is the whole thing is about that. So you have to develop these key skills. So how to get them? So basically start an overview about it. And I think this is the other one. So yeah, so what we are going to do here is, so how we are going to help you is that, let me go. Yeah. So so what we are going to do is, so the program what we are doing is designed to increase your acquaintance with the skill and progress towards getting the job ready. So we are not going to whatever we will propose, it's not going to take you like a forever to do PhD. As I said, in every skill you just have to know enough to get to the job. You don't have to PhD on any of these things. So some of the say feedback like from the previous batch, you can see here on that. So I have done training for various things like from AWS certification to running different boot camps across the industry from different people. So these are some of the testimonial from the past, and pretty much everybody is right now working somewhere other way. These are some of the testimonials. So today we are going to talk about this journey to become a DevOps. So this is basically a program designed, specifically designed to get someone into the job market in a DevOps field right now. So skill you need to do your job, experience in the industry, help with your resume, preparation for the interview, and access to network of hundreds of recruiters and hiring manager. And last but not the least, the course it comes, you basically you can take unlimited number of retakes. So take an example, you don't join this batch. If you didn't get job for whatever reason, next batch when we start, you can come for free of cost. So as many batches you can join, there's no limit on that. So journey to become DevOps. So we have around say around 80% success rate in pass in 3 months. Of course, this may change because of this current economic condition, but still, believe me, I still pretty much every day get bunch of email for DevOps jobs. I see a lot of people are getting fired, they're losing job, but I think mostly they are losing towards sales and marketing side. But really for operation side, they need people to run the show. So even for example, right now because of this COVID thing, actually there has been put a lot of pressure into IT systems. So there will be more demand for IT operation people in coming 3 to 6 months. It's not like they need less, they need more people. And of course they will do haircut on the other side, which is non-essential like sales and marketing or any kind of thing, because you're not going to make any sale anyway. So why to have a salesperson? So probably I see a lot of things I see on LinkedIn right now, people are from sales and marketing being laid off. But on the other side, I see a lot of people specifically operation they need right now. So I believe we may have a better rate right now going forward. So pretty much over past 12 months, everybody has got a job, whoever has done our program. So this is a 6 weeks, very intensive training thing. In that we tackle on each and every side, which is like a basic system engineering, Linux fundamentals, cloud basics, learning any these things. I focus on all three: Ansible, Python, and Bash, and also get tips to get certified. And last but not the least, working on a live project, which actually you can put on your resume when you go out, maybe 2 to 3 months, and you can exactly show a project that you did on your GitHub account and which works. That is the paramount. And plus, we are not talking about hello world program, because all, as I said, we also have products we sell commercially. You will get an opportunity to work on that, contribute over there, and you can say that, okay, yes, it is a real product. It's a real life product that we have. So course outline works like this. You have like a week one is a DevOps intro to and the cloud and into Linux. And then we do shell scripting, we do Azure DevOps. Yeah, Azure, why I'm doing Azure. We also do AWS. The reason is that the enterprise market, for some reason, it is moving towards Azure in a big way. So if you are looking for a job or something, maybe there is a higher probability that you may be looking for Azure. But of course, we touch base upon AWS also. And what I found is AWS is a little bit easier to learn than Azure. Ansible automation, then last but not the least, Kubernetes, Docker, and Jenkins build automation, because without that, you just can't survive in the market. And the internship, as I said. So journey to become a DevOps. So you have an internship from day one, you start the internship. So basically, actually the first lecture that we do, we talk about what project you will be working on, project will be assigned to you, and every week we have a follow-up session and we'll give you a task apart from whatever these things. So whenever anybody joining, say, I say, listen, for 6 months, you will be learning the content worth of 6 months. And this is the time, because the slowdown time, everybody's sitting from home. This is the time to best to invest. And believe me, I am also learning. It's not like I only teach. Also on my spare time, I'm learning new technology which will be coming in next 2 to 3 years, because I also have to keep myself up to date. So I don't preach, I practice as well. And job assist, which means tweaking the resume, because resume tweaking is the very most important thing, and also help you prepare for the interview in each and every interview, so that you have a higher probability of getting hired once you're called for the interview. And as I said, we also have network with recruiters. We will specifically pitch your resume for those recruiters and hiring manager, and you may have higher probability of getting called. So this is the thing we do for recruiters. And as I said, we do a lot of like reach out script for LinkedIn email invitation, and you will have a dedicated person who will be working with you, like Nicholas. I will introduce to him. He'll be working with you on a regular basis to make sure that your LinkedIn, first of all, getting job is all about selling yourself. You cannot sit in a room and okay think people will come to you. No, no, no. If you have good experience, good profile, of why not, people, recruiters will just call you all the time. But nowadays, if you don't have any experience to show or any connection, you have to be marketable and presentable in the market. So that is why Nicholas will work with you to help you improve your LinkedIn profile. Believe me, even a little bit of tweak in LinkedIn can go a long way to get your thing and promote you in the various LinkedIn network. So values, so usually we will be doing like more than 4 hours a week. You will be a live session with me, and also which is live session plus I have another in the mid of the week I do follow-up session, because to the 4 hours I'll be teaching a new topic. Okay, but remaining of the week I'll keep giving you more and more assignment, and you have to finish it. And believe me, if you like, if I see 2 to 3 weeks from now, if you're not very serious, I simply return the money and say go back. Because listen, I don't want to